When people talk about AI, they usually mean tools, models, automation, and productivity. That is real, but it is not the deepest issue. The harder question is what AI reveals once it enters daily operations. In many organizations, AI does not first create progress, it creates exposure. That is why AI is not just a tool, it is also a stress test. AI does not enter an organization and magically create order. It makes visible whether order was already there. It reveals whether mandate, service, accountability, and escalation are actually built into the operating model, or whether stability depends on habit, improvisation, and personal effort. Most organizations still begin in the same place. They focus on data, use cases, governance, training, and adoption. All of that matters, but it often starts too late in the logic. AI does not enter an empty field. It enters an existing environment of handovers, approvals, gray zones, workarounds, and informal compensations. That surrounding structure is what AI puts under pressure. This is where AI visibility matters. Under AI, work leaves traces. Handovers become legible. Recommendations become reviewable. Decisions become auditable. Priorities become reconstructible. That changes not only performance but attribution. What once disappeared inside routine and tacit coordination becomes readable. AI is therefore not only a capability layer, it is also a visibility layer. From that visibility, a chain reaction appears. Visibility creates accountability. Accountability creates liability pressure. And that pressure does not spread evenly. It concentrates where real decisions are made, where services are delivered, and where consequences must be carried. Many leaders think AI mainly changes efficiency. In reality, it also changes exposure and makes structural weakness much harder to hide. The real bottleneck is not mainly the tool, it is the point where mandate, service, and liability must hold together in the real moment of use. We call this the mandate, service, liability node. Mandate means who may decide or escalate. Service means what is being delivered, for whom, and with what effect. Liability means who carries the consequence if something goes wrong. This is why the issue becomes personal so fast. When structure is weak, responsibility does not disappear. It concentrates on someone. In many organizations, that person is the department head, service owner, or operational decision maker who must keep outcomes reliable, although mandate, service boundaries, and liability logic are not fully aligned. At Ali this figure is called the Centurio. The problem is hard to see early because many organizations still look stable from the outside. Reports are delivered, customers are served, escalations are contained, so leadership assumes the structure works. But often that stability is not built by architecture. It is built by experienced people who smooth handovers, make informal decisions, absorb ambiguity, and quietly carry extra responsibility. A common reaction is to answer this pressure with more governance, more training, more dashboards, or simply more AI. But if the structure is weak, more AI only increases exposure. AI can prioritize, recommend, score, summarize, and pre-structure decisions. But AI is not a responsibility holder. It is a contribution layer whose impact can grow faster than mandate. There is a second hidden risk. AI does not only increase visibility, it also changes how judgment is formed. As systems pre-structure more work, people increasingly act on filtered signals, prepared options, and compressed experience. That can improve speed, but it can also weaken the experience path through which sound judgment used to grow. So, what does structural strength look like under AI visibility? Decisions can be traced without instantly personalizing blame. Services are specified clearly enough to define responsibility. The mandate service liability node is explicit and stable. AI contributions sit inside accountable service flow. The Centurio role is visible, and coherent cohorts exist as the minimal stable unit carrying mandate, service, liability, and judgment together. That changes the questions leaders should ask. The key questions are no longer only which tools to deploy, which use cases to prioritize, or how to increase adoption. The sharper questions are these: where does responsibility really land? Where do approvals exist without explicit mandate? Where is hidden heroism holding the system up? The final point is simple. AI is not only a technology wave, it is a visibility event. That is why the decisive question is not only whether AI works. The deeper question is whether responsibility in your organization is structurally built or still being carried by individuals. Structure first, not AI first. Download white paper with QR code now.